Trapping is an American pastime, one of America's oldest traditions that helped drive Western expansion, an immutable characteristic of outdoorsmen across the nation, and one of the most effective methods of wildlife conservation on the planet. This video contains graphic images and may not be suitable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Howdy folks, welcome to Dominion Predator Controls Down the Line. On today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of coyote action and a little bit of skunk action too. Let's get to it. Alright folks, I'm not sure how good I'm in that shot, but we got us a skunk. It seems pretty tame. It's not too pissed off. So, skunks are worth good money right now. The pelts are worth good money. The skulls are worth good money. This is a really wide backed striped skunk. It's got a real big wide, two white stripes down the back. It looks really good. So this will be a really good skunk to keep. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of the skunk, remake this set. And we'll skin the skunk later on and divide it up for money. A lot of times you get a skunk in a trap and it's something that's not good, but coyotes really aren't worth a whole lot right now. My goal is 100 coyotes this season on this property. So if we can get it, we're going to do it. I'm going to push for it. I know I can do it. Well, there's enough here. But if I catch a whole bunch of skunks during that time, it'll just be a big benefit. Coming close. You want to see? What do you think?
It looks good.
It looks pretty good. It's a good looking skunk. Let's get it taken care of and get out of here, huh? We got more coyotes to catch. Yeah.
And like you see, guys, you know that skunk is a pretty good skunk.
That's a pretty good skunk. All right, folks. Here is the dead skunk. And dispatched without an issue. He'd sprayed a little bit beforehand. But you can see the trap set that I made. I remade this set. It was a dirt hole, but I caught a possum in it yesterday, skunk in it today, and we didn't have really any kind of problems, and the bait in there still smells real good, and it's got a lot of added appeal because of that skunk smell. So I just remade it like that, hoping to catch a coyote. And I'm going to take this skunk. Tonight we're going to skin it. Part him out. Kiddo's loaded up and Rahab the Red Ranger over there. And we're going to keep getting after it and get some more coyotes. Yeah. Mud dogs. That's where it's at. Looked like it was probably a pretty good dog. Yeah, we hear you. Well, as you can see, we had a lot of rain, but generally when there's a lot of rain, the animals move before the rain. So we got us a mud dog here. This is just our first property, first two set locations to check. We got about, I don't know, 14 other locations with 36 traps out, maybe 16 locations. So it's likely we're going to have a whole lot of mud dogs today, maybe a mud cat or two. Definitely a coon, I'd expect. probably is. This is a set that I have remade twice. I had a coyote in this set, and then I had an otter in this set right off this pond. And the otter really messed the set up, as you can see. And then now that this dog got a hold of it, he's done the same, or she's done the same. We're gonna get this pup taken care of and get moving on to the next ones, and we'll get back at you. All right, folks. We caught this mud dog in this first set of checking today. And we got other traps here, other traps down there. All of them are empty right now. But this is the finished remake on the mud dog set. This will be the third time we remade it. It's going to change the appeal to it a lot, but we put the trap bed down, and I put a little bit of dry dirt in. I put some peat moss in. I put my pane covers in and then covered it all with dirt and made sure it's bedded pretty good. That way it's a little free around the jaws. It's not really sitting in a bunch of mud. And we re-lured it, put a little more Andy Weiser's Tainted Love on there. And I'm not going to spray any more urine on it. I'm just going to leave it like it is. But a set like this, even in the next 2 nights before it starts raining again Friday, is definitely going to be able to catch. So we're set up here, ready to go. We're going to move on and check the rest of our sets and get back at it, and we'll get back with you if we catch anything else. All right, folks, I got this skunk here that I got dispatched, and I tried to do it without incident, but the skunk ended up sprayed off that way, didn't spray on the trap. I've got all this eye appeal here from where the skunk tore up the ground trying to get out of the trap. So I'm going to show you the remake and what I'm going to do in order to try and catch a coyote in this trap tonight before it rains tomorrow. We've caught a coyote, a cat, a coon, and a couple of possums on this 2-track that runs here behind me. I got a step down dirt hole just across the 2-track over here. And this set had some Casey Payne's Don Coyote on it, which is now owned by Cletus Richards, and just a little bit of Derek's urine. So I'm going to remake this set. I'm going to show you the remake and how I'm going to set it up, and hopefully we'll get us a coyote in this trap before it pours down rain tomorrow, and I got to remake all my sets. All right, folks, first thing you want to do is try and get this skunk out of your trap. Get it there away from you a little bit, so it's not sitting in its oil. All the oil that skunk sprayed is sitting right there. A couple of skunk turds over here. But skunk smell is really good for catching coyotes. And anybody who's new at this might not know, but anybody who's been doing this a while knows and understands that a lot of the call lures that are used have a skunk in it, and the skunk essence is one of the reasons we trap the skunk, because trappers use it to make lure. I usually don't use too much skunk unless it's really cold or I'm in a big pasture, a big area, and I'm trying to draw coyotes in. And I normally never put it at the set. I just put it up high somewhere on a limb or a branch or post, and call them in a little bit. That way when they get close, they'll work the sets that I have set up. That skunk kind of dug this hole pretty good, trying to get in here. Like he was about to get my trap out, is what he thought. But I had this rock here, right about there. Have a hole poked in here. I think I found it. And I just dripped a little bit of gland lure in there, and had a little bit of urine on it, turd close by. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try and get this spot fixed up. We can put this trap back in here and bed it real good. Everything here smells like a skunk, and it's gonna stay like that no matter what I do. So it's gonna draw the attention of not just predators, but coons and other skunks, possums and everything, dogs if they're around. Get that set in there pretty good where it's not gonna move. Make sure you got it bedded nice and solid before you do any other work to it. That pen cover, I've been using peat moss the last couple of days because of the moisture. I got more peat moss drying. Peat moss a little wet, it's okay as long as it doesn't freeze. We're not going to see any freezing temps until I rework everything, so I'm not going to add any antifreeze today. No point in wasting it. Get that in there, bed it in real solid so it doesn't move at all. Smooth her out. Use a little bit of this local dirt here. Skunk pulled up. Just to get it all going there. Blend it in. Rocks here. You can see I've got a spot here. My trap pan's here. So I want to set this up. There was my hole. Set this up where that coyote's got to come from the front in order to work that hole. Put a little bit of Don Quixote down in there. Just a little bit. So on the rock, just a little bit of lure down. Stuff that down in there so it doesn't come out easy. Make them work for it. Give them a little bit of urine. You're good to go. We've got this other spot over here where we've got the digging going on. So what I'm going to do, put a little spot in here. I'm going to throw some of my homemade coyote #1 in it. And that'll get the coyotes in here. They'll see that that dirt hole there. They'll probably mess with that little dirt hole bit. A little bit there. A little bit of urine. This added dirt hole that the skunk put up, all that smells over there on that side and then here. So coyotes are going to come here. They're going to mess with this dirt hole in it. They're going to work through here. I'm going to have a trap that's about 12 inches from that spot, about 10 inches from that one. And if they work the set pretty hard, I should have them front or back foot. They're going to be caught. And that's how I'd finish this setup. If it wasn't going to rain tomorrow, I'd probably add another set here just to make sure I got a good catch. All right, folks. This is the first animal I've caught in this pasture, which is really close to my house. We put 6 sets in here over the course of a few days. I think this set's been in here for about 16 nights. This is check day 19 total over the line, but we picked up this jip. She's got pretty good light hair, it looks like. I had a post set in here, flat set. Post set's just a variation of a flat set. Flat sets and post sets are my favorite. And I have another set just up there, and a couple sets over there, and a couple sets down there by that other dried up pond. And I'm right here next to a pond that's really low. It looks like it's 10 foot low. And there's a lot of good low areas in here. I'm gonna catch a lot of cats in here once I really start trapping cats. But check day 19, coyote number 12. And this is the 5th or 6th coyote I've caught on Andy Weiser's Tainted Love, and I'm almost out of that stuff. I've been nursing two bottles with barely a ½ inch in them, so that stuff was great. I'm gonna try and find a way to get a hold of that formula or see if there's anybody that's got bottles for sale, because that's definitely something that works all year long. It works for ADC work during the summer and the spring, and even whenever conventional wisdom says to use food early season on coyotes and use gland lures late season on coyotes, I am slaying the pup factories on Andy Weiser's Tainted Love. So I'm gonna get this coyote taken care of and move on. This is the first I've only checked 4 traps out of 48 so far, so I'm expecting there to be a lot of movement tonight or last night. So I expect to have a lot of coyotes today, at least 2 or 3. Out of 48 traps, I'll probably have possums, coons, maybe a cat or two, and definitely coyotes, 2 or 3 coyotes. So it's gonna be a busy day and I'm a little behind. So we're gonna get after it and we're gonna keep on trucking. Just know that flat sets are the way to go. As Wayne Derrick's motto is, make them pee. You better make them pee. If you want to catch them, make them pee. It works. It works every time. All right, folks. Here's the catch and the finished trap remake. And you can see here, you know, I've got my trap bed right in there, kind of below and off centered a little bit. There was a tuft of grass that was just tossed up, and I just kind of stuck it in the ground right there to keep them from coming around this side. And there's a little hole I put in there with a little bit of that gland lure, and I put a turd that the coyote left in place, and I kind of set that patty up where they're going to need to come around behind it. So anytime the wind's coming out of the north or the west, it's going to make it a really good set, and I'll have another coyote in this set before long. For today's product placement, I'm going to talk about another tool, a tool that I use all the time and that I probably wouldn't be able to trap the way I do without it. And that's going to be my Polaris Ranger. All right, folks. You can see here I got a pretty standard Ranger. It's a 900 XP. If you look closely there, you can see the side holder that I have set up for my beaver rods. I got these racks. I got a rack on the back side here. This is one of those Razorback off-road racks, which is actually really awesome. And you can put gas tanks and holsters for tools and other equipment on the sides of it if you want to. And then I use one of these baskets, these cargo baskets on the back end, so I can put animals in them whenever I'm out trapping. And it's kind of a neat tool. It's got a rack on top, and you can store all kinds of stuff up there if you need to. You put too much weight on it and you might regret it. But this tool right here is probably one of the best expenses I ever had. Without a tool like this and the asthma the way I have it, I wouldn't be able to get back and forth in the trap line hauling animals out in those places, in the back pastures and in the creeks and all those places you need to pull those animals out of. You can see inside there I've got a seismic weapon holster, and it sits in the middle seat there, and it'll hold all your weapons whenever you're out on the trap line or whether you're out hunting, whatever it is. And then I put another rack on the front end of it here. And this rack here is helpful for animals too. I put a lot of my coyotes and cats up here in the front rack, and usually leave the back for the beaver and so forth. But a tool like this is indispensable on the trap line. And as you can see, me with asthma the way I have it and talking the way I am, breathing as heavy as I am, without something like this to get on in and out of the trap line, I wouldn't be able to do it. And if you're a trapper, a lot of guys use different equipment. They use four-wheelers. They use these side-by-sides. Some of them are nicer side-by-sides with extra seats. But all in all, this kind of equipment right here will help you get in there, get more animals out, spend less time walking around on the trap line and more time getting animals caught. So having a piece of equipment like this is real important. And if you've got the means to be able to do something like this or have a four-wheeler, it'll help you a lot on the trap line. Well, folks, second dog of the day, flash traps to check. Check day 16, dog number 13. I had a bone in here. You can see that bone on the ground right there. It's kind of been ripped into shards, and I hammered it into the ground, kind of like a post set would. But I put bite and pull lure on it, Casey Payne's bite and pull. All right, folks, I wanted to show you that it's set construction for that animal you just saw in a trap and how I'd set it up previously. And I meant to do this earlier in the show or the segment, but the set construction takes a lot longer when I'm trying to explain it. So what I've done is I've sped it up, and I'm going to start doing this with all of my set constructions so they don't take up too much time and burn up our time here on the show. So you can see there I had bedded that trap, and I just put dirt in there and leveled it out, put in my pan cover and then my antifreeze, and then now I'm blending it in and showing where the trap pan's at and where I placed that bone and how I'd kind of set this trap up. I just told you that there was a cow patty in there, but actually there was a rock in there and that bone, and I just set them like that, put the lure on either side, and that made the dog have to get in there on one side or the other to try and get into both smells there, and that was going to get them caught. Whether they're front foot or back foot, I was going to catch them, and that's how I got this dog caught right here. And this is Andy Weiser's Tainted Love. So I think I've caught 6 or 8 dogs on Andy Weiser's Tainted Love, and I'm not using it everywhere, but sure seems like it's the most potent of the gland lures that I have, and it's really getting the job done. So you can see this dog here is not too jumpy. Usually the dogs are real jumpy, and for some reason this dog's just not. The dog I caught this morning also wasn't very jumpy. I didn't even really see that dog until I pulled right up on her. But this one here is I think it's a male, another male. And it's a 550 I had right there. I tried to use 550s close to where the cattle are just in case they get out, and make sure that 650 doesn't get around one of the yearlings, little ones. Paws there, but dog number 13 on check day 16, and this trap's only been in the ground about 15 nights. So I had a cow patty in here, and that bone. And this set hadn't been messed with a little bit, but I thought it was coons. I didn't see any dog tracks in here whenever I checked at that time it was messed with. This trap's been flipped off 3 times. The cows got out of the gate, the fence over here, and they flipped off all these traps for a couple days. And this trap slipped off again. It's right on this trail leading from that other pasture over there, which has got a lot of water in it and cows on one end of it. So we're gonna get this dog taken care of. Got a spot in the back a little bit. I don't know if it's lice or if it's a cockaburr getting in there, but I haven't seen a lot of lice on dogs here in Oklahoma. But we've seen a lot of mange. Some years it's 20% the dogs have mange. That's one of the main reasons why we control them. But yesterday I had 1 dog and 1 cat, and today, check day 16, I had 2 dogs. So we'll get this pup taken care of and get this set remade, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's remade. And I'll get to skinning. All right, folks, here's the remake on that catch. Dog number 13. You can I still gotta wipe out some of my footprints over there, but you can see the bone I had in. I got a rock in there with a hole in it. Some turds right there by the rock, and then a cow pie right here. My trap pan's in here. And I put Tainted Love under the rock. A little bit of urine all over it. And bite and pull back on the bone. And a set like that will catch you dogs like this all the time. So, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot to learn how to make sets. I'm going to go down there and fix that set now, and then I'm going to go home and skin these pups. Well, this is a double front footer, as you can see. Check day 20. Coyote number 14 here. This dog was caught on Andy Weiser's Range Boss. It was just in a dirt hole. I had the set messed with a couple of different times in the last week. First, the trap pan was exposed just a little bit, and I thought it was a coon, and then a couple days later, the dirt hole was dug out from the wrong side. And I didn't have any lure or anything else in here. I just put that dirt hole in here, and then what I did is I came in when I realized it was dug out from the other side, and I punched the dirt hole in another spot where the coyote would have to come around the trap to get to it. And this coyote's caught double front feet in a MB 550. And it fell to that Andy Weiser's Range Boss, which is really good stuff. So this would be coyote number 14 and check day 20. We already had a cat this morning, and we still got about 18 traps left to check. Thought I saw something moving over there, but it's a little over the hill, so I'm not gonna be able to get to it until I'm done with this, but could have another coyote or two in traps. I know they'd moved last night because the rain's coming this evening and it's gonna rain for a couple days, so we'll have a lot of sets to fix and a lot of stuff to go on, but should have more coyotes and traps, I think, hopefully. But I'm gonna get this coyote taken care of and we're gonna move on. You can see the color phase in that coyote. It's got some dark hair in it and dark hair on its front paws and legs. It's definitely a interesting color phase coyote. I haven't caught too many that were dark. Some folks in other places catch a lot of, black coyotes or really, really dark face coyotes, and this is the first one I've ever had that's like this out of the, 100 or more that I've caught in the past. So I'm gonna get this one taken care of and we're gonna move on down the line. All right, folks, here's the finished remake here. You can see I'd already had turned it into a double dirt hole, so I have a hole here and a hole here, and my trap is in this area here with my trap pan right about there, probably off a little bit here. I went ahead and poked another hole, put some urine in it and one of the coyote's turds, and we'll see what happens. It's got range boss in it, add a little Pecos Valley and some urine, so it's a good set. Still very deadly. It's in a good spot, so I should see some action. All right, folks, check day 21, coyote number 14. Looks like a gyp. Pretty sure it's a gyp. So you can see the fur still got dark streaks in it. Real dark in the tail, but a lot of light under fur, but still a lot of red and coyote tan in it. That's a Duke 650, and I had this set here with some of Wayne Derrick's urine, some of Derrick's tombstone that was on a stake that I put in there. And what we do is we take a short stake and we wrap some burlap around it and staple it or glue it to it, and the burlap holds the scent. And you dig a hole out and you hammer the stake down in there into the ground underneath the level surface of the ground, and you put something over the top of it. And I had a cow patty over the top of it with urine in it, and I also had a little bit of Pecos Valley that I added to it a few days back. It rained real good last night. It's supposed to rain again for a couple days coming up. Gonna be a lot of sets to remake, but the sets are all still working right now. So from what I hear, we've got another dog in a trap a couple pastures over, and this is only the 8th set out of 48 that I've checked. So we're gonna get on down the line and get the rest of these dogs out, and we'll show you what happens. Well, it's dog number 2. Check day 21. Dog number 2 for the day, which makes dog number 16 for the season. I said in my last video that the dog that I caught was number 14, but it was actually number 15. I just didn't know any better. Looks like this dog's been in here a while. Made a real hell of a mud scene. Must have been in here before the rain really started yesterday. So we're gonna get this dog taken care of and get on down the road. Well, folks, coyote number 3 for the day. Let's check day 21. This is coyote number 3 for the day, but number 17 for the season. So 21 days, we've caught 17. Is a pretty big male, pretty decent male, probably 37 pounds, pretty big dog. He's in a 650, it looks like, 550. And this was a cat foot pull toy. I had a cat foot cut off and I ran a cable through it and staked it down in the ground right there and put gland lure on it and a little bit of piss and ran off. And I left it here. I don't know, it's probably been in here 7 days. 4 days back we had a coyote in that other set that you've already seen. And I knew this was a really good spot. There's 3 pastures that meet here, really 4 if you count that one there. This is a hayfield, and the other 3 pastures all have cows on them. And the only real water on these 4 pastures is right here behind us. And there's gates here that go to all 3 of the pastures. And there's a lot of sign. Coyotes are moving in here real thick. And I figured we'd catch more coyotes in these spots than we have, but we're starting to really pick them up. We had a lot of rain last night, and I was kind of expecting to have a lot of dogs today, and that's all we've caught. So far, we haven't seen a possum, we haven't seen a skunk, we haven't seen a coon, and we haven't seen a cat, but we definitely saw coyotes all night. So coyote number 3 for the day, check day 21, coyote number 17 for the season. I'm gonna get this set remade, and I'll show you guys what it looks like afterwards. It's kind of a mud hole, so it's not gonna look great, but after a couple of days of setting and a little more rain, it'll be ready to catch. And we got more rain coming. Get this dog taken care of and see you down the line. Well, folks, here's about as good as a mud hole set can be after it's been turned into a mud hole from a coyote. You can see I've got the pull toy pretty much got eviscerated. It's right in there. So most of the hand has been shredded by this dog. Put some backing in behind it, but it's still there, and I put some glandler on it. I was using Don Coyote in there, coyote glandler, Cletus Richards sells. And the trap's in there. It's been bedded with peat moss. It's got antifreeze in it so it doesn't freeze, and then it's got fresh dirt on top. And here in a couple days it'll all pretty much look the same. But we're gonna get more rain before then, so there's that dog. Lee Steinmeier's death ray, taking it out without incident. And we're gonna get back and rehab the Red Ranger and move on down the line. Well, folks, this is check day 22 and dog number 18 so far. We had just kind of a basic dirt hole set in here. I've already caught another animal here and had a little bit of a catch circle. I've got another flat set over there in the trail. It's got a bone and a couple different glandlers on it, but this had high lonesome in it. It's a predator caller with some cooking oil. So I use cooking oil from time to time, especially when I get some good stinky cooking oil. The coyotes love it. They really do. And you know, if you don't have much, just using human food will actually do really good. You'll catch a lot more, you know, garbage that way, a lot more possums and a lot more junk coons, but you definitely will catch dogs on it too. This is a pretty light colored dog. It looks kind of like the hair thinned out a little bit on the shoulders. Maybe there's something wrong. Maybe they're starting to rub shoulders a little early this year. I'm not really sure, but this will be dog number 18, check day number 22. I've only run about 10 or 12 traps so far for the day, and we're gonna get this dog dispatched and getting out of here and get this set remade, and me and Rahab will continue to move on down the line. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. I really appreciate y'all following me along on the line. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Down the Line, and until then, Dominion out.